Yeah, hi. Good morning to everyone. So, is it audible for you?
Yes, audible.
Yeah, thank you. So, let's give me a moment. I'll start the session. Hello. Ah, hello. Yes, sir. Okay, so see, let's we will rewind what we discussed in the last class, in the last week, and then we will continue from there. Okay. So, I think in the last class, we discussed about what are the types of variables we are having, and we discussed three types of variables. Just on high level, we discussed what is how many types of variables we have in Java, and as well as we discussed like where to define what type of variable or how to identify a variable is belongs to whether static or non-static or local variable. So these are all details we discussed in the last class. We discussed like where to define what type of variable or how to identify a variable is. Yeah. So then after that, yeah, sorry for the disturbance. Okay. So total we have three types of variables in Java. Going further, so we will see whenever we define a variable, always that variable comes under these three types of variables, one of the type. And when it comes to the static variables, generally I given you details about where to define a variable, static variable, but why we have to define static variable, those details we will see in today's class. So generally how to identify, how to create a static variable, here it is. We have to define a variable. Whenever we define a variable inside a class and outside of all the methods, then we can call it as a static variable. But it should be associated with a keyword called a static keyword. So that means we will define a variable like this. Static is the keyword before the variable declaration. So we know that how to define a variable when you are discussing primitive data types like integer a equal to 10. But before that, if you given static, and that too that variable is defined inside the class and outside of all the methods, then we are calling it as a static variable. Okay. And then so here I define static integer range, static string, college name. So these two are static variables. So age is a variable, college name is a variable here, and both are defined with this static keyword. So that's why we are calling it as a static keywords. But if I define one more, I define one more variable inside the main method. So can I call it as a static variable? Means no, because it's we are defined this inside the, see, defined in the sense there are two cases, guys. Please don't confuse with that. Okay. So what it is, please don't confuse with that. Defined is nothing but what? Creation of variable. First time, whenever you created a variable, creation of variable, for first time. Okay, for the first time. But after that, once you define a variable, we will start using that variable. Okay, we will utilize or we will use that variable. So that means to use a variable or to utilize a variable, first step is we have to create the variable. So that's why if you see here, the variable whatever I declared here, age variable or college name, declared or defined, both are same. So that's what I told you, are created. So I defined or declared a variable called as age for the first time, and that age, so for example, tomorrow, if I am using that variable some reason here, whatever it is, so you cannot consider this age is located inside the main method. No, age is already created, the variable name, inside the, so the origin, the creation of variable is happened here and you are using here, that's all. But you cannot say like age is a local variable because age is being used inside the main method. No, it's not about uses. It's all about declaration or creation. So that the first time the variable wherever you created, that will be based on that you have to say whether it is a static variable, non-static variable or local variable like that. But it's not like based on the usage, okay, it is being used in the main method so that I can call it as a local variable. No, it's not like that. Okay, so just that's why please observe the terminology also what I am using, then it will be easy for you. So here this is how you can define the static variables. You can use any kind of data types here, whether primitives, non-primitives, predefined classes, user-defined classes. So we will understand step by step process. Now after that, non-static, the variable second type is non-static. So it is simply saying, say the same way however you are defining the variable, like inside the class, outside of all methods, same way we will define these variables also, but here you will not have any keyword called as static. So that means if you defined a variable without static, that will become non-static variable, or people will call it as instance variables also. Instance variables also. So if you are added static before this variable, so then that will become again static. So now this is a static variable, this is a non-static. How I am saying here, there is no static keyword. Directly you have data type followed by variable name. In case if you have value, you can give the value. It's all about the matter of whether you given static keyword in front of the variable creation or not. So if you given, then that will become a static. So if you are not given, that will become a non-static. But you have a question, at what time I have to choose static, at what time I have to choose non-static. So what is the difference between static and non-static with respect to why Java given two types of variables like static and non-static? If you are added static keyword, what is going to happen? If you are not added, what is going to happen? We will discuss right away. So after that, we have third one called as local variables. I told you local variable is always declared inside a method called as local variable, or sometimes we will define some variables inside the blocks also. So nothing but constructors, if blocks, try blocks, finally block, catch blocks, etc., etc. Few blocks you are going to be introduced in the upcoming topics. So whenever you defined a variable for the first time inside the methods or inside the blocks like this, then you have to call those variables as a local variables. So now here for example, I return integer age. Here I written static name equal to something like that. I return whatever it is. So in this case, this is a instance variable or non-static variable. This is a non-static variable. This is a local variable. So how I am saying local variable? Because int year 2024. So you declared variable for the first time by using a data type called as int. So the first time you created here year variable, where it is located inside the main method. It is located inside the main method. So that's why this is a local variable, this is a local variable, this is a local variable. So like that. So now when it comes to here, these two variables created outside of the methods, and as well as one is created without static, one is created with static keyword. So that means this will become static variable. So these are all we discussed in the last class, and this is all become non-static, and this will be called as local variable. So this is how we are going to define the variables, and we are going to identify which variable belongs to which type. So it's a very simple. Where you created, based on that you have to say whether it is a static or non-static, and whether you are having static, it will become static variable. If it doesn't have static, then non-static variable. It is created inside the methods like this, then these are all local variables. So now our today's topic is at what time what kind of variables we have to use, and what is the real difference between static and non-static and versus local variables also. So how to identify which variable we have to create, what type of variable we have to create, and all we will try to see it now. Okay, so let's concentrate here. I will take some real difference between static versus non-static first, and then I will go for the local variable. Okay, yeah. So I think in the last class, let's open the program also. Let's student method 2. Okay, so I think we are not discussing much. Let me close it. Okay, so if you see here in the last class, so we taken a real time scenario point of view, like whenever we have a college called ABC college, and I have 60 students inside that, and we taken a form and we collected all the 60 students details. So in this, what we did, we taken name, mobile, gender, college name, all these things. But when you observe here, college name is generally common for all 60 students. But still, what we are doing here, we are every student is entering college name manually. So that means 60 students, that ABC college name value is located in 60 places. Why? Because 60 students. That's why 60 places ABC college value is located. But still at the same time, ABC college value is common for all the 60 students. So you no need to mention 60 places for every students individually, ABC college like that. Why? Because they are already part of ABC college, they already belongs, everyone belongs to the same college. It's a fixed value, it's a permanent value. So it is not going to change every minute, every second. So or every one person to another person, this value is not going to change. This is how you have to remember. One person to another, one student to another student, this value is not going to change. Their names may change, their mobile numbers will change, their genders will change, their IDs will change, but not college name. Similarly, their marks are different marks when comparing with one student to another student, different marks, right? So, but when it comes to the college established year, so this is also going to be a common value and same value for every student. So why you, so if you taken a form like this, what is going to happen? Unnecessarily 60 students entered 60 times same data, and assume you stored this is all in the Excel sheet. Okay, assume you stored all this in the Excel sheet. Tomorrow your college name changed from ABC college to XYZ college. So then how many places you have to make the change is 60 places. What? Only with respect to college name, because again every 60, all 60 students belongs to XYZ. So that's why you are modifying, you are going to the 60 places and you are modifying in 60 places. Similarly, this one also. Establish, okay, maybe assume this is not going to change whether college name is changed. But assume like this, you are having common data for every student. For example, assume principal name. Assume you added one more column called as principal name. So what is going to happen in this case? So the principal point of view. So when they are entering details, for everyone principal is common. Okay. Now assume in the Excel sheet you maintain, like every student point of view, Dilip 60 times. Tomorrow it is Dilip is moved out and some other person joined, here it is. Okay. So then what you are going to do that? So some other person joined. So that means again 60 places you are going to the all 60 students details you are going and you are updating from Dilip to Suresh. So here what is the problem you observed here? It is when you are having the common data across all the students, you are maintaining individually at every student level. So what is the disadvantage of that? So tomorrow whenever you are unnecessarily, even though it is a common value, we are unnecessarily common value we are repeating with every student, and that is the one of the biggest problem. Second problem, tomorrow whenever there is a change in that value across all the students, the data is same, and when there is a small change in that value, okay, value I'm talking, like, so Dilip left the organization and Suresh joined as a principal, then if you mention 60 places like Dilip, in 60 places you have to make the changes. So that is the second drawback. So that means maintaining same data, common data for every student is one of the biggest problem. One of the drawbacks. Second thing is maintenance of the data. That means if you tomorrow if you maintain, if you I mean if you I mean you have to maintain 60 places changes. So that is the one more drawback when it comes to 60 places. But in real time applications, we will have data in lakhs of objects, or lakhs of details, or millions of details, then definitely we have to consider some kind of variation between common data versus the data which is going to change from one person to another person, one object to another object, like that we have to take care. So I'll come back to that practically. Now see, second solution approach, I told maintain college name at one place, established year at one place, and even principal name also at one place. Then what will happen? Tomorrow there is a change in the principal name, or you are changing at only one place, like Suresh, whatever it is. Then what is happening? All 60 students are referring always this value. So you are maintaining at only one place, you are saving lot of space, and you are tomorrow when there is a change from Suresh to so and so Harish or Naresh, something like that, then you are making change at only one place. So that means your maintenance of the data is also becoming very easy, and you are making very, so that means Java point of view, if I am talking memory point of view, you are occupying less amount of memory. And when it comes to changes also, you are making only at one place, it is automatically impacting all the students. So these are all details we discussed in the last class in a theory point of view. Now let's come back to the programming point of view with respect to static versus non-static, how to choose a variable. So that is what our concept it is. So then we will automatically understand what is the difference between static and non-static, all these things. Okay. So now let me give you a requirement, and let's write down the program by using some variable names, and then I'll tell you how to choose, how to choose a variable as a static or non-static. Okay. So I will take college one only to understand more, and to make more understanding. So collect all students information. Okay, so I need their name, full name. So yeah, full name, their mobile number, their gender, their year of date of birth, only date of birth, year of date of birth I want. Okay, so and then gender. Okay, student ID also will take. And their, assume these are all belongs to the college. Same college. Okay, so college name is ABC College, something like that. And that is established year in 2011, something like that. And assume the principal name also. something like that I give it. Okay, so these are all common data, I mean, but when it comes to students, the data will change from one person to another person. Okay, total marks, average marks, I want their total, their average, as well as, yeah. So this is enough to understand mainly what and all. Okay, so let's write a program based on this, and then we will identify how to choose a variable data type. Let me write down new Java file. College students data dot Java. Yeah. So first write the basic what we know. Public class name is nothing but our file name. Okay, so this is class. Okay, so then public static void main. Okay, so here now it's all about our requirement. So what is our requirement? Collecting all this information. So and we know three types of variables we can define. So for example, what I did here it is, first I'll declare static versus non-static point of view we will discuss. Then I'll come back to the local. Local is very easy. Only confusion will comes always from the static versus non-static. This is the most important topic also you have to understand, and see here it is. Okay, so if you go to the class, so you know that if I declared a variable inside the main method like integer, something like id, whatever it is, it will become local variable. So I'm not talking about right now local variables. We will discuss that later. It's all about static versus non-static. Okay, first I will define some variables like this: id, integer id, or I'll discuss, I will write down like this: string college name, string principal name, integer est established here. Okay, so then student id, and then I will take student id. Full name means you can take name as a string data type. So these are all you know that. Okay, mobile gender, mobile number I will take long, mobile, gender, total marks, average marks, integer, date of birth year, year of date of birth, integer marks, double average of marks. Okay, so this is all data I have to collect, right? Now somehow I created the variables, but how do I know that out of all these, why, I mean, how to make sure one of them, I mean, how to identify out of all these which one belongs to the, which one I have to take as a static, which one I have to take it as a non-static. Okay, so now tell me, First of all, whatever I created as of now is a static variable or not? Whatever I created as of now, 8 to 9, 10, I mean, whatever the variables we are having here. So these are all, out of these, we have any static variable? No. So we don't have any static variable, because for simple, to identify a static variable, you will always have a static keyword. There is no static keyword for any variable. And all the variables are declared inside the, created inside the, where? Class, and outside of the methods, even the main method. So out of the main method, inside the class, without static. So that means these are all becomes non-static keywords. Okay. For example, yeah, so that means let's discuss first of all non-static point of view, what is happening. College name I given as a ABC college. Okay, and principal name also I'll give like. So assume this is all I know that by the time, because only one person will be there, and then established year equal to 2011, something like that. Okay, so these are all three details, common details. That's why even I know the values also. So that's why I given. But when it comes to student ID, student name and all, even though I know the names, but there are multiple people, multiple information. So what we have to do that, let's understand. Now understand how to identify what type of variable. Okay. Okay. So in Java, when we created instance variables, instance variables means non-static variables. So I will not repeat again, non-static and instance both are same. So in flow I can take any word, but please remember, now instance is nothing but non-static, non-static is nothing but instance. Okay, please remember that word. So whenever we created instance variables, what is going to happen here, it is all instance variables, all instance variables are initialized with default values when we created an object. So I'll elaborate this point. Okay, I'll write down one more point also in a simple English point of view. So whenever we have instance variables, that is the point is, and whenever we created an object for the class, for every object, so you know that for one class how many objects we can create? I have single class. How many objects I can create means many, more than one. Sorry. So we discussed already those details, right? More than one. Yeah. Thank you. So okay. So whenever we created an object for the class, for every object, for every object, instance variables are allocated. I'll tell you what is the point of this. Instance variables are allocated with their respective sizes. In the memory point of view, I am talking with their respective sizes and values. Sizes and values. So that means, yeah, I'll just make it up, breaking down the multiple lines. Don't worry, I'll come back every point. So whenever we create an object for the class, for every object, instance variables are allocated with the respective sizes and values. So why I given sizes and values, I'll tell you what is the default values also. So in the next line again I told you all instance variables are initialized with default values. Whenever we created an object, okay, it's not about all the time in default values. I'll come back to that. All instance variables are initialized with default values. Whenever we created an object, if those variables doesn't, so here you need to know lot of things, okay. If those variables doesn't have any value, I'll explain everything in the diagram format, don't worry. So just these three lines we have to decode now. So what exactly I given these statements here, it is you have to understand. First thing is you know how to create a non-static variables, okay, fine. Second thing is it's all about there is a relationship between object versus instance variables or non-static variables. It's all about the non-static variables are going to be involved with the process of object creation, and somehow those are all always related to object level. So whenever we created an object for a class, for the class, for every object, why I used every object in the sense we can create many objects. Instance variables are allocated with their respective sizes and values. So what is this point? Try to understand, here it is. For example, if you go to our class, so I'm going to create an object. So how to create an object? You know that. So I return like this, college student data. I return student 1 equal to new college. Yeah, just class name. I told you, you know how to create the object. So you have to use class name, object name equal to new, and then again class name, and followed by parenthesis braces. You have to create an object. So this is the process of creating an object. Yeah, so just concentrate on the topic. Yeah, so how many objects I have created means one object I have created like this. So if I given like this, that means total 3 objects I have created. If I given 3 times new operator, 3 objects I have created. So like that. Okay, now in our actual program I created only one. So now let's come back to our statement again. Whenever we created an object for the class, so that means whenever we created an object for this class, for every object, instance variables are allocated with their respective sizes and values. And when it comes to the values also, all instance, all not, okay, not all, instance variables are initialized with default values whenever we created an object, and as well as those variables doesn't have any value. So what is the point of this one also? I'll try to tell you, here it is. So if you observe here, all are instance variables. Why? Because there is no static keyword. And my statement is saying instance variables are allocated whenever you created an object. How many objects I created? One object I have created. Let's take like this. Okay. Yeah. So this is our program, whatever we written. Now I am explaining you same thing with respect to memory pointer. Now whenever you executed, what is going to happen in the JVM memory point of view? Let's understand. JVM memory means Java memory, so which is taken apart from the RAM memory point of view. So what is going to happen? Understand. Now JVM, whenever you executed your program, always starts from the main method. So inside the main method, what you did? You created an object. How many objects? As of now, only one object called as S1 for the class called as which class? College students data. So that means this class. Now immediately what JVM, I mean inside the Java, what is going to happen in the memory point of view is there are two memories will be available, guys. One is, I mean there are multiple memories available. I'm not going to introduce all the memories at a time. So that means one will be called as heap area or heap memory. So what is heap area, heap memory and all, you will understand later. I'll bet this is how the JVM memory is segregated into multiple memories, but majorly I'll discuss first of all heap memory, and we will have like something like static memory, method area, like that. I'm not going to discuss those right now. Everything we will introduce one by one. Method area, local area, something like stack area, like that. We have so many things. So here method area or class memory, whatever you can use it as. Area means memory only. Yeah. So Java will maintain different types of memory in the JVM level whenever you are executing a program, like heap area, method area, local memory, something like the static memory point of view, like that. We will discuss on that. So whenever you created an object, okay, I'll give you this point also. Whenever we created an object, that will be created always inside heap memory. So inside overall JVM memory is again segregated into multiple types of memory. One of them is heap memory, and whenever you created an object, it is always going to be allocated inside the heap memory. So that means now in this case, what is going to happen here, it is, so with this, all the instance variables, okay, let's do like this. I think it's okay. So I'll write down like this, heap memory only. So what is the point I told you? Whenever we created an object for the class, for every object instance, for every object, instance variables are allocated with their respective sizes and values. So that means immediately what Java is going to do here, it is, what is the object name we given is S1. Okay, it will be given with a name called as S1. Fine. Now after that, it will go to the variables section and it will identify how many instance variables we are created. How many instance variable we created? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, yeah, 10 variables we created, right? What it will do is immediately it will take each and every variable name and it will assign that value inside the object level. So 1, and similarly second variable is principal name, right? So this is also created inside the S1 object level, and sorry, okay, and then third value also. See, in integer, okay, string memory is all about dynamic memory. Based on the value size, it will internally allocate lot of memory. So if you given long string like my name is Dilip Singh, like that, if you given a big number of lines in the same variable level, then it will take more memory. If you given single word, it will take less memory. So we cannot select fixed size. But can you tell me what is the memory allocated always for the integer variables? How much memory, guys? Okay, one is, first I'll write down the variable est year, and what is the value we already give. See, in the Java class level itself we are already given the value. So that means predefined values, we will call it as a predefined values. That means we know the values already, that's why we given in the class level itself. Understand the points? So now, okay, first let's go with the variable values, then I will talk about the sizes. Now next variable is student ID. So what is the point of student ID? So you in the main method level, we created only object. We are not done any other things. So that means in this case, what is going to happen? Student ID. Okay, it will take student ID here in the memory in the S1 object point of view. Student equal to what is the value. So for three values, you given the values, fine. But what about the student ID? Student ID. So we don't know the values, right? So that's why, I mean, sometimes we may have values, sometimes we may not have the values. We will assign values maybe after some point of time. But when you declared the variable, when you created the variables, sometimes we don't have the values. Then in this case, what is going to happen? Yes, that is the point I told you here it is. Instance variables are initialized with the default values whenever we created an object and if those variables doesn't have any value. So in this case, first three variables are having the values and those three variable values are copied into an object as it is. Those values ABC College Dilip Singh 2011. But now these are all variables doesn't have any values. So in such case, Java what it is doing is initialized with the default values. What is the point of default values here? It is Java what it is going to do is if it is byte, short, int or long. So you know that this 4 belongs to the numeric values, plain numeric values, right? So in this case, if you defined a variable with out of these 4 data types, the variable value will become 0 like that. Okay, and similarly, if it is double and as well as float, then the default value will become what? False. Sorry, not false. 0.0. So this is how default values concept is having in Java. What is the default value for a integer variable is 0. So just remember these points. In future you will get it. For example, you define boolean. So default value is false. Okay, so like that you have char also we will introduce later point of time. So like this is the values we are calling it as. So in this case, student ID is belongs to what data type? Integer. But student ID doesn't have any value. When you return the Java class inside your program, we are not given any value, but we created an object. So in such case, in the execution time, runtime level, see whatever the discussion we are talking here, it's not about the compile time, guys. It's all about execution time, what is happening. The story is all about when you are executing the program in real-time environments or when you are executing the program in the memory point of view, what is happening, that is what we are discussing. So as a developer, we are not given any values here it is. Then what is the value it is going to assign here it is? Default value is nothing but 0. So in this case, the default value is 0. Okay. And similarly, string name. Now it is string. For string, default value is null. String, not only string, for every non-primitive data type. I can say like for every non-primitive, data types, whether it is a string going further, okay, maybe you can use one class object into another class, student, integer. So these are all future classes, you will get it, guys, don't worry. Simply I am just giving multiple examples, that's all. Array list, etc., etc. Thousands of classes I can give. Okay, so these are all comes under the non-primitive. So for every non-primitive, the default value is always null. So yeah, so in this case, string is a non-primitive. So string default value is null. So that means name equal to null. Null is nothing but empty. There is nothing like that. No value, something like that. Null is nothing but empty. Yeah. So here name equal to null. Similarly, mobile equal to long value 0.0, sorry 0 only. Similarly char point of it will take empty. Okay, so gender, so that means gender, there is no value, just like that. Finally year of date of birth, year of date of birth, so it belongs to integer data type and you are not defined any value, so that's why 0. So similarly marks equal to 0. Similarly average of marks, average of marks equal to 0.0. Why 0.0? You are not given any value. See, now here you have to understand 2 points, guys. It's not every time default value. When value is not presented, then Java will decide, okay, let me give the default values. As a developer, we are already provided the value, then that value is assigned, here it is. That's why first 3 variables are assigned with the real values which we are provided from the source code itself, but remaining 7 variables from the source code itself we are not provided any values, we are not provided any real values, we just created only variables without values. So in such case what Java is doing is, if it is instance variable, for every instance variable, okay, a default value will be allocated for that respective object. Okay, fine. Now for example, for a class I can create n number of objects. Now I created one more object like S2, student 2, something like that. So now what is going to happen in this line? Yes, again same story will be repeated. What is that story is? Again one more object will be created in the heap memory point of view. So what I will do is, I'll define some big memory here. I'll copy paste that below. So this is all heap memory, assume. Stack memory I'll introduce later, method area. Okay, so you have already S1 object. Similarly, what is going to happen whenever you created one more object, it is going to follow same process. What is that is? It will create one more memory called, sorry, one more object called as S2. So please concentrate. I'll take you a lot of points, here it is. Now again what is going to happen? Same process will be repeated. So that means it will identify. JVM will go to the class. Okay, this guy created one more object called as S2. So let me go and verify how many instance variables are available. So why instance? So okay, here I need to introduce one more word also, guys. I think I did not introduce it, or maybe I don't know. I'll introduce that now. So instance is nothing but object. Please remember that word. So people can call object or instance. Object is nothing but instance. Instance is nothing but an object. Creation of object, creation of instance. So both are same. So that means generally in real time terminology point of view, or maybe some people will call it as instance. The object will be called as instance. Okay, so don't confuse. Instance is nothing but an object only. So object is nothing but instance only. Tomorrow if I am saying like instance ID or instance name is nothing but object name only, object name or object ID, something like that. Okay, so don't instance is nothing but object only, don't confuse. So it's not a different subject, or I mean different concept or different area. Object versus instance, both are same. Okay, both are same. So just remember this point. So if I am using instance or object, that means both are belongs to the same terminology, same concept, same area. Few people will call it as instance, few people will call it as object. but generally in our offices or maybe most of the times we will call it as instances. How many instances you created? For example, how many instances created? This is the question. That means it's nothing but how many objects are created. So two objects like that. So instance is nothing but objects only. Okay. So don't confuse with word called as instance is something else. Instance is nothing but object only. So few people will call it as a name called as instance also. In interviews also they will ask you what is the instance. Okay, can you explain about instance variables? Nothing but non-static variables. Nothing but object type variables only. So don't worry about it. So that is what. Okay, now I created one more object, nothing but one more instance. So what is going to happen immediately is JVM will verify how many instance variables these guys are having, non-static variables, nothing but. So again 10 variables. So all the 10 variables will be again allocated here it is. So all the 10 variables will be allocated with their respective values. So for what? For what? Again same object, second object. Yeah, just I am removing the data types. So what it is doing, all instance variables will be again allocated to the S2 object, and if those variables are already having the values, those values will be given. If those variables doesn't have values, then it will give default values. Like what is the default value for student ID? 0. How I am saying 0? Because the data type of student ID is integer. The data type of student ID is integer. So for integer it is always 0. For if it is a floating like double 0.0. If it is string null like that. Okay, 0. And when it comes to name equal to null equal to mobile I taken long, right? Yeah, 0. And gender equal to taken character empty. Okay, and then equal to year of date of birth. So we taken as integer, so that's why 0. Marks also integer 0, and average of marks also we don't, I mean we are not provided any value, so that's why 0.0. So like that, see here these variables memory whatever allocated here is different from this one. You should not say, give me a moment, you cannot say like this, whatever the 10 variables happen for the S1 object point of view are private to S1, private to S1. So whatever the 10 variables is of instance variable allocated for S2, private to S2 object. So that means now if I made, if I allocated some value for the S1 object like student ID equal to 1, so that means it's only applicable for S1 student object. It's not going to change in the S2 level. So that means simple guys. Okay, let's take like this. Okay, first what I will do is let me compile this program and then I'll take you step by step process. I'll show you whether really default values allocated or not. In case if I want to give my own values as a real values, student ID equal to 1, name equal to Suresh, mobile equal to 1234, gender equal to male, year of date of birth equal to 1989. Like that, if I want to give a real values, what is going to, how to provide real values, we will see that. I'll tell you that. Okay, so Java C, and my programming name is college students.java. So I have some spelling mistakes. Yeah, string, string name, string name. Okay, save it. Okay, see there is no errors. Okay, dot class file will be created. You know that program. So immediately dot class is created. Now when you are executing the things, Java, see, sorry. So whenever you are doing this step, whatever I explained to you as of now, that is going to happen whenever you are executing this step, guys. So the whole process, whatever I am explaining right now, heap memory, whatever it is, this is always going to happen whenever you are executing the program. So now once I am clicking on enter button here, internally what is happening? Okay, that is what I'm explaining here. It is okay. It's not about compile time. It's all about execution time. So now let me execute it. So it is executed successfully. So that means it is entered into main method. It created one object. It created one more object, and it is exited from the main method. But internally two objects are created. Okay, but how to see the values available or not? Okay. So please concentrate here. There will be multiple points will come. The most important, please concentrate one more time. See, now I created one more object, S3 object, S3 object. So what will happen again? Same step will be repeated. One more. Same process. What I will do is I'll take same data. I'll change the variable name. So S3 object is created again. So this is object of S3. So why you created third object? Now for example, assume you created like this 1000 objects. So in real time applications it will be 10,000 also. Why 1000 objects? Assume 1000 students are there. So like that you created 1000 objects in your Java class. Then what is happening? What is the problem here? It is, if you observe here, assume there are 10 objects only. First I will take small value, 10 objects. If you observe here, I said every object is private memory location, private place will be allocated for every instance variable. For every instance variable, for every object, a private memory or private kind of section is going to be allocated by the JVM. Now, yeah, just give me a moment. I'll show you that one also. But don't ask me what I'm writing right now. I'll explain that. If you see here, I'll explain that. Just I'll show you system.out.println s1 dot college name I'll tell you what I'm doing, why I given S1 and all, you will understand. If you change it to S1 to S2, what is going to also I'll explain. Okay, if you observe here, I return, okay, let me take, sorry, this one also I have to verify. See, programming is very easy when you are understanding the concepts. practical point of view. If you are by hearting it, it is always difficult. So let's take some time, don't worry, and let's concentrate more and more on the basics itself. Then you can easily make the coding going further. It's all about common sense only. We have to apply when you are doing the coding. See, something I did here, system.out.println means something you know that it's all about printing the values. You know that how to print values. We are already did that. So now here something like I given s1.college name. So what is the point here? It is I am accessing a variable called as college name belongs to the s1 object, and immediately I am printing it. So that means whatever I highlighted here is nothing but I am telling to the JVM, hey JVM, go to the s1 object and give me the value of college name so that I will print it. So now what it will do internally is it will go to the here and it will inside the s1 object, very clearly mentioned s1 object. So it will go here, it will go to the college name and it will see what is the value, ABC college. So it will print ABC college. Similarly, principal name, all the data whatever I highlighted in the s1 level, now it will be printed. See here, let me compile the program. I added some code, right? That's why execute the program. See here what happened, ABC college, Dilip Singh 2011. Yes, if you observe here, that is what we understood. ABC college, Dilip Singh 2011, student ID is 0, name equal to null, right? I'll keep like this. See here, same data. So whatever values, 0, 0, null, null, 0, 0. I told you it will be empty, so it is empty. So and year of birth 0, marks 0, and similarly average marks also 0. So this is all about S1 object. So tomorrow, if I want to make some changes to the S1 object, what I have to do? So see here, how to change value of instance variable. So instance variable value we are changing now. For example, if you observe here, student ID, you are not given any value. But if you want to provide some value, real value, what you have to follow is object name dot variable name equal to value. So this is the syntax you have to follow. So what it is? Syntax. Object name dot variable name dot value. So this is all about instance variables. I am talking completely about instance variables. Then I will bring out what is the difference between static and non-static also. So now I have total S1, S2, S3 like that 10 objects only. Okay, so if you want I can write like that, etc., etc., assume like that. I already created 3, but assume like I created 10 objects. Now this is all about S1 information. Now see here what I am doing. I have student information 1 like this. So one student 1, his roll number is 101 and his name is, okay, so something like Manish, and his gender male, something like that, marks, mobile number, whatever it is, marks he got like 600 something, and then average I can take like 70% average, 70.88, like that. I have some information of student 1. Now another student I have 102, his name is like Dinesh, and so male, gender is male, his mobile number is something like this, he got only 500 marks and he got only percentage of 60 percentage, something like that, etc., etc., etc. Similarly, I have one more student 103 and his name is, her name, I mean I will take some name here, something like Veena, and gender is female, and then mobile number is something like this, and she got like around 700 marks, and then she got like 80 percentage. So is it okay now? I don't know, maybe some network glitches or whatever it is. Yeah, anyway, it's okay right now. Okay, let's continue now. So yeah, so what is happening with this line? With respect to S1 object, you are saying like student ID 101. So then internally JVM is allocated, okay, in the default value is replaced with the 101. So that means in this case, what is happening? Whenever we are following that, so default values are replaced. Default values are going to be replaced. Now the 0 value in the memory level, the 0 value is replaced with the 101. So still remaining values are like that. Now can you guess and tell me, yeah, if I am writing this line here, what will print now? Is it going to print? In earlier case, what it is printed? 0. Now in this case, what it is going to print? Again, in this case, what it is going to print? You are going to see 0 or 101? Yes, 101 we will see this time, because by the time first time object is created, see, simple. Object is created with S1. It is going and verifying, okay, values available, good. Student ID, there is no value, 0. Name, there is no value, null. Like that, for S1 point of view, it is doing. Now, whenever you are printing, what it is doing? College name, yes, no, name is there, ABC college printed. Principal name, Dilip Singh is there, Dilip Singh is printed. SW year 2011 is, it is printed. With respect to S1 point of view, S1 student ID, 0 value. So that's why 0 is printed. But in this case, this time what I did, I allocated 101 value for the S1 object. Please understand, I will ask you one more question now. S1 point of view, I made 101. Now go to the diagram. Memory point of view, 101 is there, right? So you are saying like, in this case, output will come 101. Okay, cool. Whether it is right or wrong, let's verify. Compile the program, execute the program, no spelling mistakes, I mean no issues. See here, what it is being printed, 101. Okay, let me write down like this. Some line separate I will write down. System dot out dot print ln. Okay, just to differentiate the output, that's all. Okay, if you see here, you got 101. So that means now in the S1 object level, student ID value is always 101. Now my question here it is, I am writing one more line, please observe. S2 dot student ID. What is the value will be printed here now? What is the value will be printed here? Yes, 0 only. So why? Because these are all instance variables and every instance variable is a privately maintained for every object. So now I am saying like S2 and student ID 0 only, but I already made student ID equal to 101. So that means my plan is I am overriding default value of 0 with 101. Yes, you did that, but for what? For it is only applicable for S1 object. So that's why the changes happened only at S1 object level, but not S2, S3, S4, S5, S10, S1000, S10,000 like that. It's not happened. It's happened only for that respective object called as S1. So that's why the change whatever you made for student ID is applicable for only student one object, but not other objects. But not other objects. So that's why in this case, if you written like this, S2 dot student ID, so it will print you, it will print only 0 only. Even S3 also, what it will print? 0 only. So see here whether it is right or wrong. Compile, execute. See what happened? 101, 0, 0. Now see here, S2 dot student ID equal to 102. Now in this case, what is the output? If I am printing again like this, can you, I mean, tell me only with respect to these three lines. I don't want above lines output, these three lines. So what is the output you will get in this line? 101. So in this case, 102. In this case, is it true or not? 0. Yes, in this case 0. Why? Because you are not yet, by default student ID is 0. So when, because of this line means object created here. So this will be called as comments, guys. Maybe I will introduce tomorrow. So what is comments under, but I'll just writing down, ignore this, whatever I'm writing with the double slash after that, ignore it. I'll introduce you tomorrow, but simply I'm writing it. Okay, so I'll tell you what is this and all tomorrow or next class. Okay, so here because of this line in the memory level, an object is created like this, S3 object. So by the time student ID is 0, you are not done any modification to that value. So that's why this value will become still 0 only. So now 102 value you are assigning for what? S2 object. You are assigning for S2 object. So that's why the change is going to happen only at S2 level, not at again S1 or S3 or any other object. So that means in this case what will happen? The default value will be overridden with, overridden means the value, old value will be deleted and new value will be initialized. What is that new value? 102. 102 value is going to be initialized. So this 102 is again private to S2 object. 101 is private to S1, and S3 point of view still it is 0 value only, student ID. So see here, okay, see here 101, 102. So still S3 value is 0 only because you are not given anything. Now if you given S3 dot student of 103, so then again what will happen? Yes, 103. So that means S1 point of view, S2 point of view, S3 point of view, you are as a developer, you are assigned the real values. So then in this case, whenever you are executing your program, what is going to happen? Compile, execute. So see 101, 102, 103. So this is how instance variables will be created for every object, allocated for every object. So you guys are clear with this point now? First of all, I need to understand, whenever we created an object for the class, for every object, instance variables are allocated with their respective sizes and values. Okay, we talked about values only as of now, and instance variables are initialized with the default values whenever we created an object if those variables doesn't have any value. Yes, exactly right. So these variables doesn't have any value, so that's why default values, but these variables are having, as a developer itself, when you are creating variable itself, you given the value, so that's why that value is maintained always here. It is right. Now can you tell me what is the, so you I will give you assignment, guys. For example, now I have given s1 dot name equal to, so it is what data type value? Please remember, don't forget that data types. Name is a string data type. Name is what? String data type. So how to pass the values of for the string data type inside the double quotes, right? And what is the student one value? Manish. So that's why don't ignore previous concepts anytime. Please practice always older concepts so that you will always in the sync. So Manish is the string value I given in the double quotes. String value is always in the double quotes. Now in this case, what will happen? S1 value will become S1 student 1, S1 object name is printing Manish. So let me print it, name, S2 name, S3 name. So in this case, Manish, it will print. But what about the S2? If you go to the memory point of view, still it is null only. S3 point of view, S2 point of view, still it is null. But you are making for S1 point of view Manish. So that means until this step again, so before reassigning the value, until this step also, S1 point of view also it is null. It is null only. So see here last 4 lines observe. Last 4 line SOP SOP. Compile, execute last 4 lines. See here null. After that, what you did? You assigned a value. You are telling to the JVM, hey JVM, please replace Manish name, Manish value to the S1 object name variable level. So then what will happen? Automatically in the S1 level, it will go to the S1. The null value is deleted and assigned with a real value called as Manish. Manish value. But the same name value, whatever you modified, is going to be applicable for all other objects means no, it's not. So that means what is the point you observed from this overall process? Where it is, where it is, where it is. Output. Yeah, see here Manish S1, but S2, S3 point of view again null, null, null. Yeah, sorry. So with this, I proved one more point also. By default, null value is assigned when you are not having any value for the primitive data types. So what is the point we have to understand from here? It is every instance variable will be allocated with every object privately. So you created 10 variables, but tomorrow if you created 10,000 objects, every 10,000 out of 10,000 objects, every object will have its own private copy of variable of instance, its own private copy of instance variable, its own private copy of instance variable. So you guys are clear until this? Any doubts? How so here I'm asking 2 points. First of all, when an object is created, how JVM is allocating values for the instance variables. If value is presented, JVM will feel like, okay, developer already given the value, let me put it as it is. If developer not provided any value, then JVM taking a decision like, let me give the default value. So if it is primitives like integer, long, short, byte, 0. If it is char, empty. If it is boolean, false. If it is non-primitive, then null value. So like that, the value allocation will happens. Values allocation is going to happen, right? Okay, so now my next point is, I'll extend class for next 10-15 minutes because we should not live in between the topic. Okay, now what is my next point here? It is, I'm printing, okay, these okay, it's all about 10, 15, 20 students, and these are all belongs to which college, guys? ABC college. So we decided like ABC college. So that's why if you print now, all students college name, something like that, I just written. Let's see here. Now can you tell me, after writing the lines, I'll ask you. College name, college name. Take the variable name as it is. Don't, okay, type it. You don't copy paste it. So you have to type until you are getting the knowledge. Don't do copy paste like me. S1 dot college name, S2 dot college name, S3 dot college name, S3 dot college name. Okay, fine. Now, what is the output of last 3 lines? Can you tell me based on this diagram? What you will get everywhere? If you see here, S1 level, S2 level, S3 level, everywhere you are having already by default ABC college, real value. I mean, you are already having ABC college. So that means every value, every thing will be printed as ABC college, ABC college, ABC college, S1, S2, S3 point of view. Okay, cool. Whether it is right or wrong, see here. See, everywhere you got ABC college, right? Okay, cool. Now, similarly, you have 10 objects and fine. 100 objects you have, fine. 1000 objects you have. Now, my problem here it is, for example, the college name is changed from ABC to XYZ. ABC to XYZ. And I don't want to change here. Okay, leave about this place. So, in this logic point of view, I want to change college name is changed to ABC college to XYZ college. ABC college to XYZ college. Now I want to modify each and every student college name. Each and every student college name. So what I have to do? You have to do S1 dot college name equal to, so you given like XYZ college. Okay, so what is going to happen with this line, guys? Actually, college name is renamed to ABC college to XYZ college. Now, what I did, I given S1 dot college name of XYZ college. So I am printing like again like this. What is the output you will get now? So that means with this line, what will happen? ABC college is replaced with XYZ college with respect to only S1 object, XYZ college. What? It is happened only S1 level, but not S2, but not S3, but not other 10,000, 1 lakh objects. Then what you are going to do? So you are going to, we can make like this manually. I will say like S1, S2, S1 college, S2 college dot XYZ college, S3 college dot XYZ college like that. Yes, it is a good solution. But with respect to memory point of view, I will ask you few more questions now. We will discuss. So here if I given again S2 dot college, S3 dot college, and then you will see every object level, every student college name is changed to ABC college. So what I will do, system dot out dot print ln. Okay, so just after this, observe the output after that line. That's what. Okay, so here XYZ college null null, XYZ college, XYZ college, XYZ college. Okay, cool. So let's see the output now. So you got, yeah, sorry. Here you will not get the null. The reason is we are already having the default value. I thought like it's, sorry, we are already have a default value, right? So it will print as expected only. So S1 point of view made it as XYZ. So that's why what it will do is, yeah, so cool. ABC college, S1 point of view, XYZ college. And remaining point of view, still it is existed as ABC only. But after that, once you modify to everything, then everything is modified to XYZ college. Okay, so that means in the memory point of view also, what I will do, I will make the change. So it's all about XYZ. So similarly, S3 level also XYZ. Okay, now my point here it is, if you are having 10,000 objects or 1000 objects, and every 1000 objects college name is common, and you are maintaining privately for every object, even though college name is a common value across all students. Assume 10 objects, 10 students, 1000 objects, 10,000, 1000 students equal to 10,000 objects, like that. Now in this case, please understand the points. Now in this case, college name is a common variable, and the value is also common variable and value for every object. It's not like all these students belongs to the same college, but sometimes you are saying like every student level you maintain as an instance variable, and you are maintaining as a private copy, and you are maintaining every student level. So why? So instead of that, if there is a idea like this, assume I maintain somewhere in the memory like this, and I don't want to maintain at every student level. So I maintain at a single copy. So I maintain in a single copy like this. Assume if I maintain a solution like this, what is the advantage of with this? So for example, by default ABC college. by default ABC college. Okay. So now what is happened in this case, and I am telling to the all the objects, hey objects, whenever you want your college name, you don't have with you, but you can go and refer in some common area. There you will find out all the your college name information like this. So now what will happen? All 1000 objects are pointed to this common location, so that whenever S3, S4, student 5, student 10, student 100 want to see what is the college name, what is the college name they are having, and they can get it from here directly. So one single copy you are maintaining. Tomorrow if there is a change in the college name from ABC to XYZ, if you see here output, see when you are made change for S1 it is updated only for S1, but S3, S2, S3 point of view not done. If you are having 1000 objects, for whatever the objects you made the modification, for only those objects it will modify, but generally it should applicable for every object. The values change should applicable for every object. It is a common data for every object. So how to manage it? If you are going with instance variables, this is what the drawback of that. So now in such case you have to maintain that variable as a static variable. So this memory will be called as method area. One more memory area will be called as method area, and this will be called as class area also. Why it will be called as class area, we will see tomorrow. Okay. So that means now the story is going to change. Okay. So now the story, so now see, some if there is a mechanism like this, I will maintain college name in single place, and I will provide access to that single place for every object. So then what is the advantage of with that? In previous point of view, give me a second. Yeah, yeah, with this there is one more drawback also. What is, for example, 10,000 objects. So what will happen with 10,000 objects? Assume for this how much memory you are allocating is, assume you are allocating 4 bytes of memory, for example, and you are having 1000 objects. Only I am talking about one variable called as college name. I am not talking about every variable. Just for example, college name variable is taking 4 bytes of memory, and then that means total it is occupying 4000 bytes of memory. 4000 bytes of memory. 4000 bytes of memory it is occupying. For what? With respect to college name ABC college. But the problem here it is, the question here it is, but all the students belongs to the same ABC college, but you are maintaining at their private level. So that's why 4000 bytes. But as per my second solution point of view, if I have a stack memory, I mean, sorry, some other point of view, I will introduce that. Now some reason, so by using some mechanism, I maintain college name here, and I am telling to the every object, it's not the college name you should not maintain as a at your private property level. Then what is the advantage? And this area is commonly accessible for all the objects. This one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, in this case, how much memory you are allocating, guys? You are allocating how much memory? 4000 bytes or only 4 bytes? 4000 or 4 bytes? You are maintaining only at one copy in some other memory called as method area. So we will see that. Method area level, assume I maintained a variable like this, and I am providing access to that all the objects, and I maintained as a single copy. Tomorrow if your college name is changed from ABC to XYZ, or XYZ to some other, okay, some other college name, whatever it is, how many places you are making the change? In the sense, only one place. Like assume the college name changed as whatever it is, DIT, whatever it is, DIT college, but you are maintaining it how many places? One place. Then automatically that one change is applicable for all 10,000 objects or 1 lakh objects or 2 lakh objects. So, if you are having this mechanism, then which mechanism you will choose, first one or second one? First one or second one? I mean, we will go with this solution, or just like that we will maintain college name also at private property level? No, right? Second solution is the better. Why? Because you are maintaining only four bytes of memory in one area, and you are, even though it is common, why unnecessarily you have to maintain that property? See, that is what, when you are printing the, even in our real life also, when you are printing some forms, we will maintain why college name it as a in the heading level, because we know that whoever is filling that form, they are all belongs to that college. That's why you will give like ABC college, student information, like that 2002 to 2003 batch, something like that. That means those are all fixed values, common values for all the students whoever is filling that form. So you will provide only the columns which are going to vary from one student to another student. Those things only you will provide: name, mobile number, gender, student ID, all these things, right? Similarly, Java also thought in that way, and Java, what it is doing is, Java is saying, now I will give you one more point. Okay, if data of variable is common across all objects, then please define those variables as static. Those variables as static variables. Okay, so that means if data of variable is common across all the objects, then please define those variables as static variables. So that means, now to achieve second solution, what you have to do is, to achieve this kind of solution, what you have to do is, you have to make the variable college name as a static variable. So that means I will keep this program as it is. I will take one more program. I will close in another 5 minutes, and we will continue to this, continuation to this tomorrow also we will discuss. It is going to take one more class also to understand very practical point of view. So I will not touch this program. What I will do is, I will take one more Control C, Control V. College data 2, something like that I given. College data 2, something I given. See, I am just saving some time. Don't you don't do that all these things. Okay. See, now I am making this variable, only one variable point of view I am talking, then automatically will come to other variables also. First understand with respect to one variable. Now what I did, I made my variable college name as a static variable, and remaining all are still non-static only. Now what is going to happen with respect to object creation? I will explain step by step process again. Okay, so this is the program I written now. Only small change what you did, you added static keyword to the college name variable. Okay, so now in this case, what is going to happen? Whenever you created an object, what is the story? Earlier what I did, whenever you created an object, this is the story, right? Now, if you made college name as a static variable, what is going to happen? Please understand here. With this, I will close, and practical point of view, we will see tomorrow. Okay, this is the program we written, and with respect to memory point of view, for example, if you are included, Yeah, memory point of view I am talking. So there are JVM memory and divided into multiple areas, but first of all we will concentrate on heap memory. And again same one more memory area called as stack memory. Sorry, method area or class area. We will understand everything clearly. Okay, now in this case what is going to happen is, see, JVM always starts execution from where, guys? Main method. It will come here and it will observe, okay, this developer is creating student1 object. Okay, let me create this student object 1. Like that it will create a student object. Okay, and what is the point I told you? Whenever an object is created, all instance variables are initialized with their values along with that object. So now in my program, how many instance variables I have? So is it a instance variable, guys? Is this a instance variable? No. So that means, do you think as per my statement this variable is going to be allocated inside the object? So it is a S1 object. So it is going to be allocated inside this. I told only instance variables. So that means this variable is not going to maintain here. Generally what it will do is, whenever you are trying to execute your program, it will identify how many static variables are available. First point. And all those static variables are going to be moved to the a common area called as method area, and it is maintained here. So what it will do is, for the class name, what is the class name? College data 2, right? College data 2. For that college, what is the static variable you are having as of now? College name. And what is the value? We have ABC College. ABC College. So that means static variables memory allocation happened in which memory, guys? Is it in the heap memory or is it in the method area or class area? Class memory. It's always in the class memory. Now, okay, only one variable available it is. So now when it comes to the object point of view, yes, remaining all are non-static. Remaining all are instance variables, non-static, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these things. So that means now this will be entered here. This is all, these are all going to be entered into this object level, but not this one. Why? Because it's a static variable. So that means whenever an object is created only for instance variables, memory will be initialized and values are initialized for that specific object, but not for the static variables. Static variables are always allocated in a memory called as method area or class area as a single copy. So now tomorrow if you created one more, okay, let's do one thing. I will copy data like from here. See, this is how the data is going to be copied now. So in this case, what happened? For example, you created one more object called as S2, S3, S4. But whenever you created S1, S2, S3, S4, as part of every object, there will not be a variable called as college name, because college name is allocated as a static variable. You created as a static variable and it is maintained in a common area. So that means now you are having 1000 objects and 1000 objects are going to have 9 variables internally with memory allocation, like principal name, established year, student ID, name, mobile, all these things, but not college name, because college name is not part of object. College name is part of static. Okay, it is a static variable. That's why that is separated from the heap area, that is separated from the object creation process and as part of the object, and it is separately maintained into class area or method area level as a single copy. But all these 10,000 objects are always going to be accessible this value always. So what is the advantage with this? You maintain at only one copy See, the data is common. College name is common for all 1000 objects. So that's why you maintained as one copy. Assume it taken 4 bytes of data. So only 4 bytes. But here, if you are going with the old approach, 4000 of bytes of memory, even though it is a common. Not only that problem. Second problem, what you are changing for one student college name, second time onwards, second college it will not impact. Third student it will not impact. Like that, 10,000 students you are having, it you have to maintain 10,000 students level the data modification. And it's not only like that, memory wastage also. But if you are going with this approach, tomorrow your college change it to ABC to XYZ. What you will do? So I'll do one thing. Switch quickly. What I will do? I'll write down all these lines of logic. In the second program, I will upload all these programs. Okay. But I will tell you what is the process you have to follow and all. Tomorrow also continuation to this. We will see tomorrow. Okay. What I will do? I will not take all the things. I will remove all these things. Okay. I think below we have, right? Yeah. I'll yeah. See here. Yeah, I written only very small program now. Now observe here static variable and I am printing S1, S2, S3 static variable. So what is going to happen? What is the value you will see? ABC college output point of view. Java C class. What is the program I written? Class day college data, sorry, not call class. Sorry. Dot Java and then Java class name. See here, you got ABC college. That's fine. But it's all about modification point of view. See now what I am doing. There are some rules. I will explain you that tomorrow. How to access static data and all. There are some rules available that we will discuss tomorrow. College name equal to XYZ college. Okay, so now let me print it again after the modification. See, I made change at only one place, guys. Now I am printing again one more time. Compile it, execute it. See, I think where I am printing. Is it saved first of all? Yeah, Omkar, I will give you 1 minute. Just wait for 1 second. Why? No. I did not done anything. Okay. Okay. So I got the point. I'll explain later. See, for example, if I made change at again one place, see without I'll do one more thing. I'll give like this. I'll explain you this tomorrow. See, it is saying like ABC College. Oh my God, sorry guys. Object creation is different. So that's what I'm confusing. That's why copy paste will create always some problems. I'll tell you this, how to create one class object into another class and all. This is next level. See, we created object for other class and we are printing that. That's why it is taking. My logic is good only. So I got surprised with 1 minute. Just a second. I forgot to copy, rename these things. That is the problems of the copy paste. College data to our class names. This is different class. See, now I created for object for same class, XYZ point of view. See here now, even I'll tell you this, why you have to give class name, what is the better approach and all, I'll tell you tomorrow. Now compile the program. I got surprised. See now what happened. Here XYZ, here also XYZ. Let me make it as initially ABC and then I modify to XYZ. Let me compile the program. Sorry, it's all copy paste problem. See now what happened. ABC College. Yes, default. Some reason the college name you changed to XYZ. You made only one small change, one time variable reinitializing, but it is automatically affected to all 1000 objects, 3 objects, 10,000 objects. That is the advantage of static variables. Right? So that is the advantage of static variables. And if you see here with respect to memory also, that is what I told you. So it is always maintained in only one place. Tomorrow if there is a modification, what is going to happen? That value will be replaced with the new value in the same common place like XYZ college, like that. So then you are saving lot of memory. Then you are saying lot of memory with respect to this. And my next question, can I make this variable also as a static variable? Is it better to keep this one as a static or non-static? So I will discuss those points tomorrow. Is it better to keep this variable as a static or non-static? Student ID, student names, established era and all. So we will discuss which one we have to take it as a static versus non-static point of view. We will discuss again very clearly tomorrow also. So what we discussed today is most of the time, majority of the time, how instance variables are involved as part of the object creation for every object. So now tell me, I'll ask you some high level questions based on your understanding. I have one instance variable, integer, some variable name. Okay. How many I have is one instance variable. Sorry, integer wise, 5 instance variables I have, and I have 2 static variables. Now I created 10 objects. Can you tell me how much memory is allocated in this case? Overall memory. Okay, how much memory is allocated? So 5 instance variables, 10 objects. So integer is going to take generally how much? 4 bytes, right? So total how many? 10 objects. So can I say like 10 into 4 equal to 4 bytes, right? Can I say 10 into 4? It means 440 bytes. Okay, cool. And can I say like 10 into 2 bytes again? 20 bytes, is it the correct evaluation as per my discussion, or this is the correct evaluation? First evaluation, second evaluation I will write down. Second evaluation is 2 bytes. Which one is correct? First one or second one? Sorry, two static variables means 2 into 4 bytes. Sorry, 2 into, sorry, 10 into 5 into 4. Why? 5 variables, right? So that's how. I'm just high level I'm writing, guys. 5 variables, 5 integer variables. So that's why 5 into 5 4 bytes, 5 4 like that. But 10 objects, so you have to take like 10 into. So 10 5 something like that, 400 something like that, okay, etc. So here it's not like 2 into 4, again 2 into 4. This is one evaluation, and this is another evaluation. Which is the correct one, first one or second one? First one or second one? Yes, second one is the correct one, because two static variables are not part of any time object. I'm not writing exact values. So static variables are always maintained as a single copy. Two static variables, two memory locations, that's all. 5 static variables, 10 objects means 10 into 5 variables into every variable. It's not like for again static variables also you will have 10 objects point of view, again 10 static variables will not be allocated. Only static variables are always allocated as a single copy. Non-static variables are allocated. For example, assume 0 objects. 0 objects you created. Then how much memory allocated for above things? Only 2 into 4 bytes. Why? Because 0 objects. Remaining 5 bytes, remaining 5 instance variables are not coming into the picture. Why? 0 objects. Whenever you created an object, 5 variables. Second object, 5 more variables. Third object, 5 more variables. Memory allocation. Like that, every object level it will take. Okay. So that is all. Tomorrow we will continue to this, and I will tell you tomorrow we will take same program and we will discuss even out of all these also which one we can make static, which one we can make non-static and all. We will take one more example also. I will give you clear picture tomorrow how to define a variable as a static or non-static and all. Tomorrow we can see. So if you have any doubts now, you can ask me now.
Sir, I'm audible, sir.
Yeah, yes.
Sir, we having interfaces of a classes, like we having a data members and methods, right? So if we define any member or any attribute as a static, so it will allocate the memory space in a static memory, right?
Hmm.
So if we define any method as a static, so where the memory gets allocated?
So I did not started static methods, right? Why are you asking that question first of all?
Sir,
Let me come back to
actually,
step by step process, because you know the Java, but others don't know the Java, right? I mean, it's all step. See, tomorrow I'll make a notes like types of methods, static methods, non-static methods. Then we will understand. Then you can ask those. See, please make sure the questions are relevant to the current topic, because I know that some few people are already having lot of little bit Java knowledge, and you guys are looking for some other areas. That area still we are not reached, but there are some other people, they are not aware of anything what you are asking. So my point here it is, whatever the question you are asking, it's not part of today's discussion. It will come
it's true,
maybe day
sir.
after tomorrow.
It's
You got the
true,
point,
but
right?
so are you covering the JVM architecture also as part of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
core
See,
Java?
JVM architecture I will cover at the end of the session. Why? The reason I can explain you. See, first of all, you should get what is the clarity of a static variable, static methods, how objects are created.
Just asking, sir, are
Yeah,
you
yeah, I will
covering or
cover.
not?
See, no, I
Uh,
got your point. My point is, I will clear each and every doubt, but I don't want to confuse other students with your doubt. You got my point, right?
yeah,
If I
yeah,
am
yeah.
starting, if I am making explanation about your doubt, then people will other students will feel like they will start thinking about the today's topic is linking with your doubt. So that's why I'll cover to your
Yeah,
doubt
it's
maybe
true.
day after tomorrow, because once we are done with this, then we will go for the static memories, types of methods, static methods, non-static methods. Then I'll explain you how. See, I will explain you method execution also. For that, we will have one more memory area. Okay, so stack area,
Oh,
something like that. So in
yeah,
stack
yeah,
area,
yeah.
we have
Stack.
some PC registers.
And
So in PC registers,
some
local variables will come. So I'll come
actually,
back to that.
actually, actually, sir, some misinterpretation is there in some what it is confusion is there in my mind, so that's why I asked
No,
that
I'll
question.
clear your doubt. No, don't worry. Just ask, make the doubts relevant to the current topic. That is what my intention
Yeah,
was.
sure. I will
Keep your
keep.
concepts right. Whenever I said
Yeah.
like this concept is done and still the doubt is part of that concept, then you can ask me. I don't have any issue. You are having free hands.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. I will not say like we
Thank
will not discuss. We will
you.
discuss each and everything.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
right time, right point of time. That is what my intention. That's all.
Yes, yes.
So is it clear,
Okay.
guys? Anything, any doubts until this today, whatever we discussed, how instance variables are part of object creation? Very, 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 very important. I'm telling you, if you want to become a good developer, practical programming developer, okay, and if you want to get a good knowledge, practical knowledge, you have to understand all these flows, all these things internally, what is happening. It's not about writing Java program, seeing the output. That will never ever make you as a good developer. Okay, writing a Java program, seeing the output, things, understand internally what is happening, how memory is managed. See, this is what our real life story, how we will make our pamphlets, right? So when you are filling some biodata forms or whatever it is, same thing Java point of view also, they also thought same thing. Why people has to maintain same college name in same every student object level? Let's make it as a some other memory, and let's make it as a some different type of variable. So they given, that's why static versus non-static. I'll continue this tomorrow also. Okay, don't worry. Tomorrow also, continuation to this, we will take one more example and then we will close the static versus non-static point of view. Any doubts, you can ask me. Yeah, thank you, Omkar. Thanks for that. So that's what I'll keep all my real-time knowledge, whatever I'm working in the real-time applications nowadays. So I'll keep all my knowledge, and based on that knowledge only I'll discuss in the class. It's not like theory I will never like. You already realized it. So I'll make everything as a practical point of view. Let it take some time extra. I don't care. I don't care about my time. Look, core Java should be completed in 45 classes. No, I don't care about it. I'll make students are comfort with respect to practical. Let it take 60, 70 classes also. Time wastage for me, not for you. Okay, please realize that point. You are getting knowledge. Still people will feel like, sir, it is taking longer time. Yes, I know that. With longer time you are getting good knowledge, right? So don't worry about the time. I don't think within 1 month your life is going to change. If it is extended one more 15 20 classes extra, your life is not going to be okay, something like not going to change from down upper to down. But if with this knowledge, definitely after that 1 month you will become good developer, or you can attend the interview, you can clear the interviews. So please make sure practical knowledge, don't by heart. I'm telling you one more time also, don't by heart. Please make sure, see, so when you are practicing yourself also, make this kind of diagrams. It's not, that's what I'm telling you. Writing a Java program is all about by hearting. My kid also will do that. If I teach him, second class standard guy, like this is where you have to give the semicolon, double quotes. Of third day he will make not write down. Fourth day may not, but fifth day he will write down. He will show the output also. But the problem here it is not about the output. It's all about internally what is happening, at what time, what we have to take. This is where your expertise will come out. Okay, so that's why please make always practical. Whenever you are practicing also, don't, it's not about writing the program yourself also. Make your own flow diagrams, write your own understanding. Okay, this variable is created here like this. Okay, this is how memory wastage, we are reducing the memory wastage, so that your application performance will come up. So that's why that is how you have to think always. Okay, so let's connect on tomorrow. If you have any doubts also, you can ask me tomorrow. Thanks to everyone.
Recording